Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Kent Keeling. I'm one of the team leads here at Texas Gun Club down in Stafford. Looking forward to the opportunity to talk to you guys a little bit about gun safety. What we have here is a Glock 45. This is my personal gun here. Kind of want to give you guys a quick little rundown. Obviously, safety for us is going to be the most important thing. I like to say that a gun is only as safe as the user. You can have every single safety feature that exists to man, and then if you put it in the hands of an inexperienced or unsafe shooter, that gun can be the most unsafe in the world. The first firearm rule of safety that we abide by is going to be we're always going to treat this gun as if it were loaded, right? A lot of people have the excuse of, oh yeah, I might have pointed this gun at somebody, but it wasn't loaded. That's the most common excuse we hear at the range. So there's kind of a little bit too relaxed point of view for that. So that's right there, firearm rule number one. Rule number two is we're never going to point the firearm at anything we do not intend to shoot, okay? So that kind of falls in line with that little history I gave you right there. Never point the gun at anything you don't want to shoot. We don't want to shoot our friends, we don't shoot our family, we definitely don't want to shoot our foot off, right? So that's going to be something we also abide by. Number three, we're going to keep our fingers straight and off the trigger until we intend to fire, all right? So yeah, you might be ready to fire, you might think that, oh yeah, well, it's my turn to shoot, so I'm going to put my finger on the trigger automatically. But you may not intend to fire yet, and that's going to be the big difference there for you. And then the last thing is we're always going to be aware of our target's foreground and its background. So what that means is we're going to need to know what's in front and behind our target, as well as to the left and right. In a range setting, that's not going to really apply so much because there's not going to be anyone in front of you. The way the Texas Gun Club is set up is we have benches in front of all of our shooters. You're not able to go forward of that firing line. The only thing that's going to be forward of that firing line is going to be your target. Obviously, your target is just going to be a piece of paper, so it'll be perfectly safe. And then behind the target, we have just a big pile of effectively just tire chips. And that's what's going to catch those bullets and keep them from doing any ricochets or anything like that. So it's a perfectly safe environment. So that's why we are aware of those. But in a hunting scenario, self-defense scenario, you're accountable for every single bullet that leaves that gun. So you need to be aware of what's in front of it, what's behind it, and what's to the left and the right of it. So I just want to give a quick demonstration on some of the key parts of a handgun, what makes them work, and how we operate them properly, okay? So putting the slide forward here, there's some pretty obvious ones that we note here. Obviously everyone knows what the trigger is here. Trigger right here in the center. So Glock does not have an external safety in the way that a lot of people view what an actual safety is. So a lot of people see, hey, I need something to click up and down to put the gun on safe, put the gun on fire. Glock doesn't have that, although they have several other internal safety features that ensure that gun does not fire unless you intend it to. One of the first ones is what you can see on the trigger itself here. It's a small lever right in front of that trigger. It's very ergonomic. It basically works with the trigger pull as well. So as you pull that trigger back, it'll automatically depress that safety as well. They have a drop safety internal as well as the striker safety. So these say the gun is, if it drops, if it's mishandled, falls down, it's not going to just go off. So guns, although that may be like a misconception, guns do not go off very easily without manual input from the user, which is another reason why we really harp on that safety. Next, we're going to move down. I'm going to switch this around here for you, and we're going to look at this square piece right here. That's going to be your magazine release. Don't have a magazine inserted into this gun right now, but the magazine is the piece that feeds ammunition into the semi-automatic firearm. So we click this button here, and were there a magazine in there, it would simply drop free, and that's how you would remove the ammunition and get the gun clear and safe. So that's the first step to clearing and safing a firearm. So remove the magazine has been removed, and then the next step is going to be to lock the slide to the rear using this piece here, which is the slide lock and slide release. So it forms two functions. So the first function I'll show you is a slide lock. So this piece, this big metal part is called the slide. So that's going to lock that slide to the rear. If you watch me here, pull the slide back, push up, and that will lock the slide to the rear. Now this, in my opinion, is one of the most important functions of the firearm. safety involved, of course, is going to be because I can look inside and you can see there's no ammunition inside this gun. Yes, we're going to treat every firearm as if it were loaded. And yes, we're obviously going to never point at anything we don't want to hurt, right? But this right here is an extra peace of mind that we know there's nothing in this gun. Next one is going to be that same piece. It's going to be a slide release. So if I just simply pull down on that same piece, the slide is going to shoot forward, and were a magazine to be inserted, it would pick up the round from the magazine, insert it into the chamber, and then prepare the firearm to fire. Some other basic ones. Right here we have our barrel, and barrel is just going to be the tube that the bullet goes out of. Some other ones here are these metal pieces on the front and rear. Those are your sights. You want to line those up to get to your target. Mine has a red dot on the top. So this for me just makes it easier for me to shoot. So being able to simply bring up my gun and present the firearm with a red dot on top makes it a little easier on my eyes, and I can shoot a little bit easier and shoot a little bit more effectively and faster for me, because I've done a little bit of competition shooting, and so doing that makes my life a lot easier, makes me faster and more competitive.